Well, I know you've all been waiting with bated breath for the final video of this series, at least for now, which will concern the ACT process known as self as context, a completely confusing term to those not familiar with the ins and outs of all the ACT and relational frame theory terminology. Very briefly, we could talk about the self like a bowl of soup, the soup of the day. So on any given day, there's this bowl of soup, and there's maybe some meat, potatoes, some tofu if you like, vegetables, water, spices. That's all the content. So in my day, I have some anxious thoughts, optimistic thoughts, sad feelings, some nostalgic feelings, some nauseated feelings, some hungry feelings, some memories, etc., etc., etc. That's all content. All that's content. If I can say, oh, that's that, then it's content. It's a thought, it's a feeling, it's an impulse. Oh, I have to go to the bathroom. Oh, I want to get in my car and drive and never stop driving. These things are content. But there is a bowl that holds the soup of the day. Okay, the contents keep changing. Every day it's different. Actually, every second it's different. But the bowl is the same. And so that's the context in which the content happens. So the self as context is differentiated from the self as content. So I am not my thoughts. I am not my feelings. I am not my impulses. I am not any one of those little chunks inside the soup when I'm in contact with this part of me. This part of me that is not any one of those things, but in fact is that which can observe those things. So if you can observe your thoughts, like we talked about in diffusion, video discussing diffusion, then you can't actually be identical with the thoughts if you can observe the thoughts. That which observes is the self as context, sometimes called the observer self. Some people differentiate between the two. I think they're pretty much the same. The observer self and the self as context are much the same, at least for purposes of our discussion. Having introduced that notion, let's do a brief experiential exercise to make a little bit of contact with the self as context. So it really looks bad on video to have someone sitting here with my eyes closed. So I'm not going to close my eyes. You can close your eyes if you want to. I'll lead you through this exercise. It'll be pretty brief. But if we were to first sit and make some contact with present moment things like the sensation of sitting, the sensations of breathing, feelings of hot, warm, cool, different parts of the body, noticing any thoughts that come up, noticing any emotions that may be present, noticing sound. There's a ticking clock in my office. There's probably a whoosh of some kind. Just about every room, every place we go, there's a whoosh or a roar. In my case, a little bit of tinnitus. And who is it that noticed all those things? There's a you here, noticing all the things that you noticed. You feel that little sense of being the observer, being that which sees, that which hears, that which smells, that which has thoughts, notices thoughts, even that which remembers, even that which notices thoughts about the future. That's that little subtle feeling, that's the self as context. We can make contact with it too sometimes by going over old documents, like all our old school stuff, going way back. That can sometimes bring us in greater contact with the self as context. This tends to be stabilizing. It tends to be, gosh, I really don't like this word, but it tends to be healing, in the sense that we see that we're bigger than whatever the soup of the day happens to be. We're not quite as caught up in it. We're not quite as victim to this compulsion we have to make everything right, to get rid of bad feelings and to only have good feelings. We can see that we're so much bigger than these feelings. We're so much more than just these thoughts. We extend wide in history, way back and way forward, and so forth. Well, that about wraps up my zany little summary of acceptance and commitment therapy. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope you've learned something. I would love to hear from you if you have any comments. If you're a layperson and you've gotten something from this or have questions about this, I'd love to hear from you. If you're an expert on acceptance and commitment therapy or relational frame theory or any of those nutty things that people like me geek out on, I'd love to hear from you too. Until then, take care and fill in the blank.